Chapter 6. For the first time since kindergarten, I was officially afraid to go to school. I stood at the bottom of the steps that led to the front doors of my high school, letting the other students flow around me. A few of them didn't know who I was. Freshmen, mostly. Kids who didn't care about football or homecoming or any of that stuff. Kids whose parents didn't watch the news. The rest of them knew exactly who I was, and all about what Darius had done, or said he had done. I hadn't slept at all Friday night, going over the video of Darius in my mind. The more I'd thought about it, the more I'd realized that Darius's speech was textbook terrorist screed, which is why I was sure it was written for him by somebody else, somebody who made him read it, or brainwashed him into reading it. There was no way Darius had willingly abandoned the army to join Al-Qaeda. I was sure of it, even if he cared about Islam, and our family had never been religious at all. Persians were Shia Muslims. Al-Qaeda were Sunni Muslims. There's no way he would want to join Al-Qaeda, and there's no way Al-Qaeda would let him. I tried to tell my parents my theory, but they'd been too numbed by shock and sadness to listen. And that first video of Darius had been followed by another on Saturday, and another on Sunday. Darius training Al-Qaeda troops. Darius calling on American Muslims to take up arms against their country. With each new video, the case against him mounted. And from the looks the other students were giving me on Monday morning, he'd already been found guilty, and I was guilty by association. My hands clenched into fists. My heart raced. My face got hot. A flood of emotion overcame me, a mishmash of feelings I thought I'd already dealt with during the roller coaster of a weekend. I wanted to run away and hide. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to punch something. I wanted to punch somebody. What I didn't want to do was climb those steps to school. But I did. I was not going to let those looks stop me from living my life. Inside, it was worse. The crowd in the hall parted from me like they were a stream of water and I was a drop of oil. Conversations stopped. Eyes followed me. Silence stalked me. I'd been stared at like this before, but never so blatantly. It happened sometimes when I was out in public, someplace where nobody knew who I was. I'd be with Darius at Metro Center Mall and people, adults mostly, would give us these side glances. They'd look us up and down, suspicion in their eyes. They didn't think we noticed, but we did. I did, at least. More than seeing it, I could feel it. Feel the way people watched me as I browsed the game store and stood in line at Orange Julius. As soon as I got comfortable, as soon as I forgot that I happened to have the same nose and skin and hair as some monster who'd once hijacked a plane, a suspicious glance would remind me all over again. These people had no idea I'd grown up in a suburb of Phoenix like any other American kid, playing Xbox and eating Cheetos. Or they didn't care. They feared me, hated me, just because my skin was brown. But it had never been that way at my school. This was my turf, my kingdom. Just the short walk to my locker twisted my guts into a tangle of spaghetti. I didn't know how I was going to survive a whole day of this. I looked for Adam. He'd texted me a little over the weekend, stuff like, "Hey, you okay?" But mostly he had given me space while my family and I dealt with each new horror that appeared on CNN. The one person I hadn't been able to talk to was Julia, and when I spotted her down the hall, surrounded by her girlfriends, I practically ran over to her. If I needed anybody's support now, it was hers. "Hey, Julia," I called. Julia's friends gave her a quick glance and then peeled off. I leaned down to kiss her, and she turned away, making me kiss her cheek instead of her lips. I frowned. "I tried calling you and texting you all weekend," I said, fighting down a pang of worry. "I was busy with the play," she said, still not looking at me. Something was definitely up. Could it be about Darius? But Julia knew me. She knew Darius. I pushed on, trying to make things right by ignoring the tension between us. "How'd rehearsals go?" "Fine," Julia said. "Did you get that one scene right? The one you'd been working on?" "Yes," she said. And then, "I have to get to homeroom." "Julia, wait," I said, catching up with her before she could run off. "What's going on?" She looked up at me at last, her lips thin, her blue eyes filled with hurt and sorrow. But there was something else in her expression. Fear. I staggered back, as startled as if she'd slapped me. "Julia, please don't call me any more for a little while," she said, her voice small, the opposite of her usual confident tone. Are you breaking up with me?" I asked. I blinked, feeling lightheaded. "You can't break up with me," I said. "I love you." Julia swallowed a sob and turned away, a hand to her mouth. "Julia," I called, my voice cracking, but she was gone. I realized suddenly that we'd had an audience, a bunch of kids who'd been pretending not to watch the homecoming queen dump the king. My face was hot with embarrassment as tears welled up in my eyes. I couldn't let them see me cry, too. I pushed through the gawkers into the boys' bathroom and huddled over the sink. I wiped away a tear with the back of my hand. My chest burned like my heart had been ripped out. I didn't know how to handle this. I'd never been dumped before. I'd never told a girl I loved her before. Now both had happened on the same day. Out in the hall, the bell rang. I was going to be late to homeroom, but I didn't care. I ran the water and splashed some on my face, trying to hide the tear stains. I wanted to crawl into a corner and fold in on myself until I disappeared. Julia had broken up with me. But what really haunted me was that look in her eyes. Julia was afraid of me. I looked in the mirror, trying to see what she had seen there, trying to see the monster everybody else saw, the terrorist. But all I saw was me.